Well, it's Thursday morning. Gray Cat is taking a nap. She's already had a sunbath. She got up in a window ledge and laid and slept and rolled over. Now she's in here where there's no sun. At this spot, there is sun in here, but not right there. She has no interest in the news, except the news is on.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Go a little bit north to the front, that way. Let's go a little bit that way. There you go.
Well, that's pretty. Oh, that's
Very pretty.
I've got all kinds of squares if anybody wants.
What size squares are those?
They were 6.5, they ended up being 6.
Beautiful.
But I got other sizes too. Bags of them.
Wow. It's about that dark.
Nice.
Nice job, Jan.
Yeah, thank you. Be a quote for someone.
You guys are backwards. One's one way, one's the other way. I hate to tell you.
I'm left-handed.
There you
So
go.
I'm always going that way.
You both change around, you'll still be backwards.
I have another one, but it's on my bed, so we'll have to wait for that. I can't seem to get everything done in a tiny
I don't
time.
understand that at all.
Yeah,
No rush. You're not going.
I got it.
Erica.
No.
Mary Ann. I'm gonna get in the middle here, though, just a minute.
Somehow I wound up with a bunch of fat quarters the other day.
Christmas already.
They're all Christmas.
Hang on.
Can you pop it so you can see it?
Wait, yeah.
Table topper?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I gave most of them away.
Very pretty.
I wound up with 3.
I like that.
I have a table that size. I don't have anything.
Nothing, Jan.
Yeah, I got some. No, it's just a small one. Do you need help? No. I wanna know who made this quilt. Does it look familiar to anybody?
Can you actually point it toward the camera?
Now, this quilt was done by somebody who really knew what they were doing. It's beautifully piecework.
Oh,
There's the there's the flanging around between the border and the blocks. Jan and I went over it with a fine-tooth comb, and it's wonderful.
I bought it at Goodwill for $5.99.
is that something?
Oh my goodness.
How could anybody put anything like that in
I don't know, and I bought some fabric down there that is this on the back. So I'm thinking maybe somebody was an estate and they cleaned out.
Yeah.
Because you keep putting out a little bit of stuff all the time to keep me coming.
Within walking distance, too,
Everybody
almost.
covered.
Yeah.
You're close. I see
Yeah.
you're close. You can
Yeah.
go there every day.
Yeah, I do every morning.
Don't tell them there's an
I'll put it up here so you know.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's beautifully done.
It's gorgeous. It is.
I love that.
That looks like some fabric with the fish on there, Beth, that you gave me. Some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be.
No, it wasn't mine. I wouldn't be putting my stuff to Goodwill.
And if I had made something like that with what she gave me, it wouldn't go to
I
Goodwill
just
either.
want, because it's very similar to a Black in the Month that we
Yeah.
did probably 10 years ago. And I'm just trying to think who would have died or something to
The
leave
moral
it.
of the story is
And I did have that
label your
fish
stuff.
fabric, so I recognize the fabrics.
Even if you take a magic marker that is, permanent and write it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like she said, if it's wrong Goodwill, nobody wants to.
And when I die,
Yeah.
So when I die, all my stuff is not.
it doesn't matter. You know who I am or not, I don't care. Mary.
Okay. I did bring 2 old quilts that we're gonna look at, but
I also finished, this was a class of Sherry's for a centerpiece.
We're still doing the class too.
And I finally finished it. I started it last year and then I had it pinned wrong, so it didn't go together right. And I went in the other day and she told me to unpin it. There it is.
She'll straighten her.
She did. It took her 2 seconds. Beth. Sue. Marge.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm loving fall so hard. All hanging.
Isn't that cute?
She sure
It's so easy, once you get it
come a long way. She does great stuff.
As tall as she
Let's
is,
see
she
the
can't
back.
get much higher.
Let's see the back.
Oh, turn it around again.
The back.
Oh, that's nice. I did cherries. It's not hard after you get it all cut out, it's real easy.
So are you saying?
Okay, is
Great
that
job on that.
That's it.
it? Okay,
It is.
Becky.
Yeah, I brought a quote that my great grandma made for me. Yeah, I'll put it here. If someone would help me hold it up. I was born December 51. As I understand, this was ready for me when I was born. So, one of the things my mom did was put it in her cedar chest. So we all know that there's little spots from here or there. Some of them could actually be blood spots from grandma, but it's all machine done. And so would you say these are all like 40s materials or are they 50s? 30s?
A lot of 30s,
A lot of 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
But if I was born in 51, obviously,
But
and
she
she
was
had,
making it before you were born.
yeah,
And she could have been making it out of her sweat.
I think so.
You
Because-
know, there's a lot of fabrics that are probably house dresses.
Oh, yeah, right. And I had jammies out of this stuff. My mom had squares that she made, stuff out of, so yeah, that's, oh, like this one. We had, extra, see that, whatever that yellow and red is. We had lots of that left over. That was the interesting thing, is Mom still had lots of stuff. And she didn't realize what she had, so she gave it to the Mennonite ladies, and I learned how to quilt with them. So they had lots of squares and things for their charity quilt. But this is what it was. But anyhow, that's what I brought for you to tell me they're all 30s and 40s. Huh?
There's 30s in there, there's 40s.
Okay.
But, you know, they're predominantly 40s.
Because if you feel this, that's probably the feet sack stuff, isn't it? Because they're
Well, that
heavier.
is deep set.
Yeah, because she had lots of feed sacks. So,
This is either,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah, the red and blue here is definitely the food set.
Okay.
Because it's got that, and then this red and white is definitely going to go
Mhm.
But it's got a very coarse
Okay,
look.
Of course.
we were gonna do that after show and tell,
Right.
guys, so, I'm gonna see if I get through the rest of them here, because I know, some. Okay, I gotta fast forward here, guys. I gotta go home, get ready to go camping this weekend, so move along here.
Thank you.
Deb, yeah, you think? No. You shipped yours out, so you didn't bring it for us to see. Nora,
I brought the, blanket back with labels.
that's for Red Cross, or Love Inc., or?
I there's fat flannel that was left here for
Okay.
the tape, and I just served around it.
So did we wanna leave that then for Love Inc. at Christmas? Okay.
Yeah, I just wanna get rid of it, I'm not taking it home again. And then I, brought backing for, it's ugly. I'm cleaning out my sister's stuff, and this is backing for a charity book. I think, unless they think it needs to go in the garbage, I don't know. I just,
Hey, that's striped, there's a stripe, you know, maybe that could be put up and put back together, or
Yeah,
the
that's
stripe
right.
thing, yeah. Yeah, so take it back home, cut it up.
I'm not taking it back.
But that's an idea, if somebody wants to get creative with those stripes, cause it does,
Well, there was, I
Starts like
think,
me.
5 3/4, she wanted to have one of Judy's sales. I think the last one that she went to of Judy's.
so that's
Is
more
it
than enough to
100%
make a nice
cotton?
quilt, huh?
Is it 100% cotton?
Proudly. It was from Judy at Quilting Garden.
That used to have the quilt shop here and,
I don't know, it just doesn't look like 100% cotton, it looks like drapery.
No.
well anyhow, it's a thought, if somebody wants to take it and do the stripe thing.
No, then I'll take it home, I don't want.
Pass it down to her. Just pass it down. Touch it.
Yeah,
Feel
pass
that
it around,
fabric,
see
feel
if
that
anybody connects with it, but that would do a.
It would be
a
nice for
nice-
backing for a men's quilt.
That would work, yeah.
I don't think
Okay,
it's
is that it,
100%
Nora?
cotton.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Kathy? Diane?
Yeah.
Another practice on a piano for freelance quilting.
Can you see that one?
And then I just put the polka dot border to match the backing. And did the outlines and practice pre-mesh and quilting, and now I'm ready to start doing something a little more exciting.
That's nice and colorful though.
Yeah, it is pretty colorful.
Nice.
I like the binding out of this.
Yeah, I like straight.
Very cute.
So wherever Charity, I've got our label on it for Mansfield before.
You need a label or you do?
No, I've already got it on.
Ready to go.
We've got the Red Cross and the pregnancy and Love Inc., so,
Whichever you feel.
I think this is,
best.
should go with pregnancy here.
okay, let's put those two together. That's beautiful, Mary.
Are we done?
Are you
Are you
done?
done?
Yeah, that's okay, you can just hold it a little bit. We're okay.
Any more?
Fingers sure work better.
I don't know, somebody's been working.
Pillowcases.
Mary, that last one that you held up, was it a panel or is that all hand appliqued by you?
It's a panel. It's a panel.
And she's hand quilted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I made pillowcases.
Okay, hold them up. Just, just kind of the pile there, you go, that'll work. That way if I don't remember, I can look at my pictures.
And I made trick or treat bags. Oh.
They're not big enough.
Getting a new great granddaughter and the shower's in November. So I'm going to sandwich it today.
That is very cool.
Next year.
It's been in my thoughts for a while.
Glad you enjoyed it. Judy,
I just finished this 5 minutes ago.
okay, you're gonna have to move away from our sunny window.
Finished the binding on it. I started a Bounty Hunters quilt, Grand Illusion, and I didn't like the reveal. So this is part of the blocks that I had started for that Grand Illusion. And we're Michigan State fans, and so Joyce Brenner put the party heads on, and she said, how about a football too? So it's for my son. He's got a whole room full of, big screen room with all the Michigan State stuff.
Does he know he's getting this?
No. He's the one that thinks quilts are It's worth $5, so. I'm telling him that he better keep this one.
Price tag on it. There you go, on the label.
Yeah.
Label it with the price tag.
Okay, you got more?
Nope, that's it for today. I brought this one for Beth.
Oh,
It's a friend of mine's, not mine.
okay. Anybody else want to show us anything? I'm not gonna ask if you want to tell. So- This is quilt, we don't want to give those away. This is Charity, okay.
Well, that's what I said, I know they're not, I don't know what we're packing.
My mother did that also.
I heard a good story about this one friend of mine, her last name was Vogel, and we were sitting in the rest down in Grand Prix, I gotta get it down, and she told, so how did I? Because I want her to talk about.
The house on the lake, I know, the Audubon, I get mad every time. That's beside the point. And my thoughts were, as I had a specific antique top that I was gonna spread out on the table so we could all check it and so forth. Well, that's not gonna work here. Anyhow, and I do not proclaim to be an expert on this. I just started, many years ago when I started quilting, I got in with a quilt group in Ortonville, Michigan. And one of the gals was studying to be a quilt appraiser. So, and there was a bunch of us that were going from Dryden to Ortonville on a weekly basis to the Quilt Guild. And so we grouped together, we would meet at the IGA, and we'd all drive, and she would talk. So from that point, my interest in the antique quilts and antique quilt tops really got going. And so that's how the whole thing came. And over the years, I've taken workshops with, I don't remember whether it was one of the Fons and Porter gals was in Southern Michigan. I took workshops with them. I've taken a workshop with Barbara Brackman, workshops with Terry Clothier Thompson, who also collaborates with Barbara Brackman. And everything else has just been by going to museums when I had a chance, studying quilts, whenever they're dated, look and see what they look like if anybody is really interested. In magazines, they'll say a date of a quilt. So study the fabrics because really it's fabrics. Technique takes a part of it, but it's the fabrics. And I really feel sorry for quilt appraisers in the future for all of the fabrics are being duplicated, reproductions that are perfect. I've got some reproduction fabric at home in my stash that is identical to an antique quilt that was made prior to the Civil War. So, I mean, I don't know how they would, but they do. I don't know how they do it, but they do. One of the resources I had was from a cute little book, Dating Quilts. And I got this from Margie Ann's way back when she was in business in Beulah. It doesn't have any prints or anything on it, but it just goes through the years of what styles, what colors, and so on and so forth. I'll pass this one around. But the one that I get the most out of is this one, Dating Fabrics by Eileen Janke Trestain, Trestain. I checked the other day, I know it's still available on Amazon, it's still in print. And this is from a color guide from 1800 to 1960. She has since put out a new book, Dating Fabrics from 1950 through 2000. So that could be an interesting one for people who really want to get interested. But this one takes you through the pre-1800s, pre-1830. Then it jumps up to all through the years of all the different fabrics that were available at that period of time. What kind of, how it's made. It's really quite in-depth, and the book is really not expensive. And of course, wouldn't you know it, I'm turning the pages and I can't find any pictures. There's some that you get from, now this is 1830 to 1860. So it's a source of really it's kind of a real source, good source of information for somebody who really does want to learn about fabrics. And then another, I'll pass this around too, and another one, now my computer and my printer are not talking to each other right now. So I could not print a lot of copies of this. But I got this from the workshop that I took, and I can't remember, like I said, whether it was either Marianne Bonds or one of the Bonds or Porter gals. But it goes through approximate timeline for quilt styles. And it starts with 1775 with whole cloth quilts. Goes all the way up to 1940 and beyond. And then it tells you the colors on the next page. Pre-1930, 1830 rather, of the type of fabrics that were used during that period of time. And also the patterns. It's just four sheets of paper that are very simple. If somebody has a scanner that could email any of these out, perhaps they would volunteer, because like I said, I would gladly do it, but my printer and my computer are not communicating, so I can't scan and get it back to my computer.
How many pages is it?
4.
Attach it with the newsletter maybe?
Well, I can scan it and save it in PDF and email it out to you guys.
Yeah, to anybody that would really be interested and want it.
Yeah.
So
I'll just mail it
pass
to
that
all of you
around
guys.
also.
I would like it. Thank
Okay.
you.
It's got some good information in it, and like I said, it's just kind of an overview of everything. You could spend years and years and years and still not get up to things completely. I brought with me a quilt top that I have not yet quilted, and I've probably had it for 20 years. And it's kind of like a hybrid. It was made by 2 different people, which we know happens quite often.
How can you tell that?
You're getting ahead of her.
Now, one wonderful source of information that I got with this quilt, many years ago, there was a lovely quilt show in Southfield, Michigan. And one of the women that curated the quilt show, her name was Julie Silber. And she came from a quilting background in Southfield, Michigan. Her mother, Mary Silber, was a great philanthropist with Quilting Worlds. And she talked to me about this quilt because I was very intrigued with it. The quilt blocks are from the late 1800s. This here, and so much of it, had to come from a wealthy family, because people in that time and age really did not have a lot of money to buy yardage of fabrics. So she told me, and of course I've learned this over the years, the quilt blocks are all done by hand. Put your arms down. The quilt blocks are all pieced by hand.
See that on the back.
You should see the back.
We'll get around there. And the quilt is put together, all the setting blocks, all the borders, they're done by machine. So that's where you get the two makers. These blocks were sitting in a box or a basket or a drawer somewhere. Somebody found them and had this fabric and put it together. And there were 2 of these quilts, almost identical. Didn't have enough money with me to buy both of them, so I passed. But that's okay. But they were both identical. Before we turn it over, I questioned her about this block.
Yeah.
Because everything else is crisp and lovely. A little staining over here, right there. They are the same fabric. And I said, what happened there? She says, it was probably an ironing board cover. So, and the more I looked at it, okay, yeah. She knows her stuff. So I found that. And that's one reason why I brought this quilt, because of the
What's
It's
the name
really
of the
crisp.
block?
I can't remember
Cause
that.
I wondered if it was like double cross or
No,
something like that.
I knew it before, but I didn't have
Okay.
time today to look it up. Now, these are a version, or they are an indigo. This is a cadet blue. All of the backgrounds here are shirtings,
Okay.
which comprise of shirtings, underwear, aprons, house dresses. The double pinks in there are all, they're a very common, double pinks started coming in around 1860.
Shorts from now on.
And they continue on through today. So let's turn around to the back. You'll see on the indigo and on the cadet blue ones, how the color doesn't come through at all. And that is very, very synonymous with an indigo and with a cadet. Most indigos, even the ones that are manufactured now, they still do it. And I have managed to find some that is dyed and manufactured recently, and it's still made the same way, and it's just the same way still. They put the color, they put the pattern on from the top, similar to a batik. Not the same way, but similar. But that's, and all of the blocks, of course, are hand-pieced, and the binding, over the borders of the blocks are machine-pieced. If everybody's got caps on their liquids or something, I'll pass it around. We'll fold it a little bit smaller, and I'll pass it around.
And
Yep.
what's the material, the first border there, that blue?
Pardon?
The grayish blue, the border?
What about it?
What, is that a shirt? I see it striped out.
It would be it's a fabric of some sort, and I don't think, it could have been a shirt. Because it's pieced in a couple of spots.
Did you ever know Millie Splitstone from down in the, she was somebody that would date stuff. I guess she worked with the AQS to do that and was trained. And she was down in, say, Grand Haven, Muskegon area.
I've never been in that area.
Okay.
I'm more from the Detroit suburbs.
Okay, because she made a comment about the indigo blue, where the 1890s, they had these dye press, or however you make the imprint on them, and they were in South Africa, and I guess somebody came back and started making them all over again in the 80s and 90s, I think. But they were the original dye plates that they had found, so that's probably why they match so well. Because that's what she said.
Now, this quilt is the one I'm quilting now. And I brought
on
it.
the cutting table?
No, it's okay.
So when do you throw it over for work?
Yeah, we pinned this about a couple months ago. It was given to me by a very lovely lady. And it is definitely 30s, and I just wanted to, it's been stored away, you can see, because the fabric is so crisp and so bright. But I would say 85% of the fabric in this is feedsack.
How do you mark your clothing? How do you mark it?
I got a stencil.
Okay, but I mean, does it wash out or?
It sprays out.
Well, it sprays out, you have to spray it with what?
What?
And all of it comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I've had it working.
Well, I haven't sprayed this enough, but it's just about out. I've done this for years.
I wouldn't do that.
I've never had a problem, but I don't leave it in long.
Yeah, I didn't either, but it never heats, so that it would.
I don't line my quilts. But this one I will. I mean, I don't want this one to go around. It's too awkward, it's too big. But I just wanted everyone to see the, yeah. This is what I do in the evening. Let's fold it so it's outside. And I'll lay it up here so anybody can come look at it.
And you said that's I like because
A lot of
I'll hang
feet
out
say
there.
that. Here, let let me show you what leaves come around like this, and let you see bead sack.
The weight of it?
If you want, Deb, put that up, is that the one that you wanted to make copies of?
That's not the feed that, or fill the truck, I just put
Oh, okay, no.
Now, feed sack, you know what feed sack.
I do.
Okay, anybody here wanna see this? In the feed sack in there, this very center one is feed sack, it's coarse, this is feed sack.
You would know it.
It did, you went to the farmers, you went to the feed store to get your, when you were a farmer, you went to the feed store to get your chicken feed.
Yeah.
You get your seed.
Cause you can see where they had it course.
I would go to the feed store with my grandmother, and I would pick out matching ones so I could make my skirts. I started sewing on feed sacks.
These are all feed sacks.
Those are nicer feed sacks. These are coarse ones.
Are they really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. See this leftover from feed sack.
Dropped off here too?
So there was something
I
in
think
the feed
this went
sack.
down the side, didn't it?
Yeah, grains.
So you have to buy something to get your material.
Yeah. Well, that's well, not during the war. They
No, you can't have it, Mary.
instead of just plain.
Sammy Stack. If she knew I had it out there, she'd probably shoot me.
It's feed sack.
So much to choose from, guys, and so little time.
I have one just like that at home, except it's got turquoise sea. Yeah. Okay, so any questions so far? I'm trying to keep it as short as possible, because I could get going on and on and on and on. Okay, a couple of people brought quilts that wanted me to look at them, and,
I have to hold them.
okay, bring it up.
Can we hold them up so we
You
can video it?
overachiever, you.
Yeah.
It's all good, Debbie.
I do not know anything about these. My grandmother died probably in the late 1930s. My mother never even knew her. And this is one of the tops that she had made. And I guess I need to do something with it, popular what. But I have washed them with Tide in the machine because my parents' basement had flooded, and I was either gonna throw them out or try and wash them. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are, you know,
that's
there's
good.
stains out, there's no way you can get it out, and it's part of the furniture. So, there's a lot of fabrics in here that are, late 1800s. This is, and of course, this is an indigo.
Indigo, 1800s?
Indigo was, yes, was late 1800s, into the early 1900s.
This is all done by hand. And
I've
this is
got
done
that
by machine.
maroon,
I
this-
say that.
That one, I've got that in one of my antique tops, back at home.
And they think that that one.
what about the checks?
The checks and the plaids, they come from the 20s, more so.
Yeah.
And they're large, and that could bring it, even into the 30s. This is a very soft fabric, so it was laundered a lot. It's a little lightweight. It probably was in somebody's dress. But most of the quilts that you see that are many, many fabrics like this came out of somebody's sewing stash. Their little sewing box.
I think I have two others that my dad had one on his bed, and it was made out of suit fabric and just tied. And I think I still have that one. And then there was one when we were first married, so that would have been over 50 years ago. I decided I would try and salvage for my dad and knew nothing. And what I did was just put a sheet on it and tried to tie it, but it needs to be ripped out when we're done. But
Does it take away the value to machine quilting versus hand quilting on these? Or is that just a preference?
Well, it doesn't really take away from the value, because the value comes with the fabrics on the quilt top. But machine quilting, especially with a long arm, it can damage them. But in some cases, it's fine. It just depends on the shape of the fabric. Some fabrics are just too quilted, too fragile to even quilt, even by hand.
The one that I had was all done on a treadle machine back in 51.
Yeah, a lot of the quilts were done this way.
I've got one.
But I think she electrified the treadle.
now this is one I know a little bit more about. And it hung in the Lansing dry goods store. Like I said, it had to be in the 1930s. Because my folks were either married in 1941 or 43, and she had passed away before that. And she did win a blue ribbon with it. And again, I threw it in the washing machine because I had no choice. But I'd like to wash it and try and get the stains out of it, but you're telling me
Don't.
do anything.
If you want to freshen it up, put it outside on a clothesline.
But she hand quilted all of this. I wish I had known her.
This was your mother then?
It would have been my grandmother, my dad's mother.
The hand quilting in this is absolutely exquisite. I mean, it is all hand. It is just wonderful.
It's hand quilted so well it looks like machine.
Straight.
How about the other way around? For those of us who are used to it. Yeah, and that's just gorgeous.
Do you keep this
That's
out?
a lot of in and out.
Lay it out on
No, it's been shoved in.
Lay it out on the bed.
Lay it out on the bed?
Yeah. Do you have a guest room?
Yeah.
Put it on that bed.
Fold it in a new spot.
Yeah, I see, it's really.
Fold it on the bias.
Supposed to fold them on the bias.
Fold it on the bias.
Well, yeah, I
I
knew
just
that.
ran across another great way for storing quilts is to roll them on your pool,
thing.
your
Pool noodles?
yeah, your noodle. Yeah, your noodle.
I wondered if they would rot.
No,
I'm wondering if you should cover those in cotton case. I would, because I was thinking, my luck, it would rot.
But really, they're telling people nowadays, and I have done it with all my quilts. They're folded this way. I mean, the outside, but they're on the bias, corner to corner. Here, let's show you. Let's
Yeah, I didn't know
fold
that.
it different than it was the last time, so you don't get that same fold.
So what are we doing?
Okay, let's get four corners.
No stress.
Okay.
Oh,
You take that one.
There you go.
Those were the popular fabrics at the time. They had lots of that.
I know.
no, it's not square.
It's not quite bubble gum.
Okay, let's bring the point back.
Make sure you know how to
It's hard
fold a
to do it when
quilt.
you're standing up.
Is that bubble gum
Take it to
thing?
their cutting table.
That's why I was thinking if she washed it, it might have been
Well,
brighter.
you get the idea of it.
Yeah.
Take it over to the cutting table.
Big triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make triangles. And you can fold it down the same small as the embroidery.
I'm not sure about the colors myself. That must have been the thing, man. Must have been.
Well, they had the bubblegum pink and the moss
late
were
1800s.
real popular then.
And look at green, and look for that green and yellow. I think
asked me what it was worth, and I said, I don't know what it's worth. She wants to get rid of it. She had a neighbor that they were getting rid of everything, and this was in a garbage bag that they said go to Goodwill with it, and she said, well, can I look through it first? And my friend has had this hanging in her house for several years, but now she's moved where she doesn't have any place to hang it.
All those little triangles.
This is an ocean wave. But that's all I know about it. All hand quilted with little hearts.
it almost went to the Goodwill.
Was it all hand
Yeah,
pieced
well, I mean, it
too?
was just in the
I
trash
was gonna
bag.
say Jan would've got it.
There's a lot of 20s and 30s in here. And what is really interesting, Judy has bought a lot of reproduction fabrics, and I have too over the years. And one of the first women that came out with the reproductions of the 30s was Judy Rothermall.
Half of my stash is Judy Rothman stuff.
And she and I could both see in these fabrics, in this quilt, where she got her ideas, where her inspiration came from.
It's just one I've got now, but.
Yeah. Yeah.
This lady also has for sale her brother made her a quilt holder that clamps.
Yeah, I've got one.
So if anyone wants one of those, she has that for sale too.
They're hard. How much is she gonna?
She has no idea. I mean, make an offer that she can't refuse. I'll tell her. I mean, I didn't know what to tell her this was worth. I mean, I really don't. And
How do you know what these are worth?
well, if you have it appraised, then it's $75 for an appraisal.
Oh, really?
60 at the one I know, and she said they were charging at the AQS in Grand Rapids 75.
Really? Wow.
No tears in it anywhere?
No, it's a
You could
very,
appraise quilts for less than that.
oh, it's probably true. I don't know.
The backing has been pulled around the front for the binding.
Oh, that's interesting, I didn't notice that.
Is the backing muslin or what is it?
Yes, it's a muslin. Very yellowy, I like that buttery color muslin.
What is aged beautifully. But it's predominantly British fabric.
This is very pretty, pretty color.
And the green. This green is called that green.
That green.
That green is very, came out very, that color came out,
T-H-A-T.
yeah,
That green.
came out in the 30s. Yeah. And it was a very popular color then.
Had that green.
You'll see a quilt that's got that green. It's a 30s
Well,
quilt.
that's what I said, she had that.
So what
So
would
what?
you say a value is?
What would you say a value?
I wouldn't want to value it. Not at all.
I saw one on eBay that was a Texas star, all made of silk, with fantastic, in between the Texas stars, fantastic trees. It went for $360.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm thinking, I would have thought that would be at least $2,000 for that quilt, because it was the age and the silk.
That's what it is. How long you like it, how bad you want it.
Yeah,
Well, the quilt, I've showed it, I think you've seen it a couple of times, the quilt that I've done with the roll buttonhole applique. I had that appraised at the show last winter, and it was appraised at just a few dollars under $2,000.
But there's different appraisals. You can get an appraisal for replacement value, and that would be how much would it cost to have someone reproduce that? If it's hand folded, how much would it cost to have?
Are you gonna refold that one too?
It's too hard to refold it when you're standing up.
It's been hanging, most of its life has just been hanging flat, so it doesn't have any.
Yeah, you don't want to use them.
Yeah. So if anyone is interested in buying this, I'll take your offer back there.
We'll backtrack just a minute. Mary Metzger was showing us this quilt of her grandmother's with the green in it.
This green, that green.
It's here in this book, the exact fabric, and it's dated between the 1860 and 1880s.
That's not that green, that's a different green.
That green there. Not that green. but the green there. But it's right in
Not
here.
that green, but that green.
And I have an Irish chain, a double Irish chain that I have back home that I've hand quilted, and I've got the same fabric in that.
That's cute.
Pillowcases.
Okay, Debbie, did you bring those for you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
This came with the man I married.
He brought them along.
He brought them along. Yeah, that, he plays golf and sings, so, yeah. But this, no, Mount Dulcimers is what he plays. No, it's not good. He plays everything for me. So I don't have any idea. I know this was in a baby crib that his sister got. And he got this quilt.
She got the crib and
She got the little tiny, it was just a real small, almost like bassinet sized wooden little quilt.
It doesn't have any, no filling.
Nothing,
nothing.
nothing on it.
It's like a summer quilt.
I won't be there Monday.
And it's probably all 50s.
50s? That's about right. It was born 59. I think it's really sweet though. Yeah. So that's the 50s. I got that. Okay, thank you. This one here. This one came with me actually. It actually belonged to my ex-mother-in-law. She gave it to me years ago. And I believe it's Iris's. It's all hand quilted. It's from a neighbor. Orchids. Okay.
Lady slippers.
It's got a few spots and it's starting to come apart there. I passed it on to my daughter because it was from her father's side, but then she was using it on the couch and laundering it every week. So I laundered it and took it home. I said when I'm gone she can do that, but for now I don't want her to.
Well, just before the meeting started today, Sherry came up to me and she says, I saw on Nancy Zeman's yesterday about how you can repair the damaged quilt tops.
Well, even here you can see it's shredding.
Can you hear what
And she told me, I've heard this many times before, and I've done it on a couple of old quilts. Take very, very fine bridle tool and put over it and just finely applicate it down.
Yeah.
And then avoid, handle it with care at that point, but it'll keep it from deteriorating more.
What do you think?
Probably find the right.
It's probably 30s, and I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't like a Mountain Mist quilt kit.
That's what I thought it was.
That's what you thought too? Yeah. Mountain Mist quilting fabrics were out, not the fabrics, but the quilting batting. They had a lot of kits that they provided for applique back in the 30s, very popular.
30s?
Yeah.
A mountain mist?
Yeah.
I thought it was real pretty. I mean, at what time it was on my bed.
but I've had it stored for years now. Other than,
It's been well loved.
yes, yes, it was on my mother-in-law's bed for years and years.
Years and years.
Its binding is been, it shows that it's been worn. It's been loved. Yeah, if you've got lovely quilts and you've got them stored, take them out and put them on your bed occasionally.
These have been hanging in my bedroom. I have a big rod on the wall, but I was worried about sun damage from opening the curtains, so now I'm putting them in a chest again. I didn't want them ruined.
But you don't want to use them.
That blue?
This one here, my husband said that his great-grandmother made. That seems right. These quilts have never been used. His mother stored them all in a cedar chest, and when she passed, before she passed away, she handed them out to her children.
That's lovely.
What, is that the, what's that one called?
It's a drunkard's pad.
Drunkard's pad, that's what I thought, yeah.
The only pattern that I just can't, I hate this thing. I hate the pattern. I could not put them together. I cannot get two blocks to come out the same size with this pattern.
This one's all hand quilts. I was gonna say, it looks like
That's the idea, what it's
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's supposed to.
Yeah, right. Started.
So it's hard, it's very, very hard to come up with a specific date on a solid fabric.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Nothing to go by.
No, I think it's
I had a
beautiful.
solid yellow with these.
The color is very, very vibrant. You can see where it's been stored very well.
Love it. That was great.
Oh, we're seeing some real treasures here.
When I met him, he had these hanging on a wall in his spare bedroom. I was like, yeah, he's okay. Real colors. No, the solids are very hard. This is also from the same lady. Oh, I love this.
Is it familiar? That's.
I did that,
Yeah.
Can you see the border of it? This is great-great-grandmother.
Get the border of it, that's the part that everybody likes, is the edging.
He has a brother and a sister, they each got 2 quilts apiece, and then he has 2 nieces that help take care of his mom, and they each got a quilt.
You like to do the binding?
I've said bad words. Lots of bad words.
So what would you guess on this one?
There's a lot of 20s in here, there's a 30s right there.
I need a 20s and 30s.
Yeah, that's a 30. This one right here would be a 30s. That's blue right there, with the little knots in the heel. Excuse me. But then you get into all the flowers here. That's more, this is toward 20s. This one, those are leaning, they're leaning toward the 20s. Yeah. And the checks. But there's 20s and 30s in here, and it's partially done by hand and partially done with machine.
And see, it's gorgeous, and even if they cut off the top of the piece of pie, I mean, it's gorgeous. So whenever I stress about something, my points aren't all there.
I found.
Get her done, get her done.
I can't tell.
No, I'm just saying, right here, where
I'm
this
just wondering, you know.
oh, you can't.
It seems to be the machining right around. Exactly, right with the little. Yeah, and put the little border on it.
To put these here, this, here, look.
A lot of those, I've seen some quilts that were made in the 1800s with a machine.
And what color is that green?
That's green.
That green?
No, it's not that green. It's just.
Oh, is it? It's a little bit darker than the other?
Yeah. It's a green. That green is more than
Is that green? No. No, that's no, it's still.
Where is the?
Yeah.
Right over there's a book by Nora.
Okay. See if I can find the color directly in here.
I had pillowcases that had edges of that green, they were white, and they were made for pillowcases, but they were zigzag. And they had a whole set of them. They had the bubblegum pink, they had that green and a kind of a sky blue, actually a little bit darker.
There's not a true color picture of that green. I've got a couple of books at home that have it in it. I'll bring those. So anybody got any questions? Anything? I mean,
Did you wanna help me sort out which years these are?
I couldn't do that.
Okay, because I was gonna say, some of them are piece sacks, because you can tell by the size of them.
Bead sacks were made from the 20s through to the 50s.
Okay,
And a lot of them are all duplicated of everything.
okay. And some of them are a lot heavier than others too. They just made them
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I think they are my whole
Do you remember some about those kind of stuff?
Mary, did you get
It's about time to go home.
The yellow. Oh, no.
They were both.
I thought that was your
Yeah, but I don't know what
I got two from her.
Somebody had a drawing on there, is that yours?
Yeah, don't worry about it. That's all I ever draw is bomber. Some people draw dogs and here.
You draw bombers.
Well, I'm going to try to bring you a little handbell concert today at Trinity Lutheran. Martin Luther's 95 Thesis, 1517. That'll make this some kind of a anniversary. Alone faith, word, grace, alone. Martin Luther was a real troublemaker, I tell you. He had the idea that you didn't have to pay for your sins you were forgiven to, or just asking to be forgiven. I'm looking at the sheet of paper they gave us.
Good, well, welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here. I just want to say a little bit about the quilts before we get into the concert. There's 116 quilts on display today. Be sure to look at the backs of our quilts too. Some of them are just as pretty as the front of our quilts. We're very lucky today because the tops of those quilts, every single one of them was made by either one or another of these two ladies that are well in their 80s. You know, Moses was 80 when God called him to work. These ladies are almost 90, and he's still having them work. And I'd like to introduce you to Laverne Kirchenberg and Ellis Phillips. And you can tell the quilts apart because as you walk through the quilt, you'll see some have little pockets in them, and some don't. The ones with pockets in it were made by Laverne Kirchenberg, in case someone wanted to put a little note in there, okay? And now I'd like to introduce you to our soloist, Christine Stout. There's 37 bells here and one lady. And can you imagine how if this is done? Not me. Christine is a handbell soloist. She's going to play all of these bells all by herself. And there are many professional handbell soloists. There's not too many professional handbell soloists in this world. And just a handful, as a matter of fact. But please silence your cell phones. And please take all the videos and snapshots you would like. And you can post them on your YouTube if you'd like. And I think you all have information on Christina. And so, ladies and gentlemen, may I present Christine Stout.